Picture children, abandoned and orphaned with nowhere to turn. Widows no longer able to care for themselves in an impoverished community. My name is Anna Kempa, and through this self-introductory speech, I'd like to advocate a charitable organization that is very close to my heart, which is the Indian branch of Vision Nationals. And it's because of their dedication to bettering the lives of needy children and widows in their community and reaching out to the impoverished areas of India that I would choose them as the charitable organization of my choice to donate $1 million to. I hope that through this speech I can open your eyes to some of the amazing things that Vision Nationals is doing in their community and reaching out to others, and hopefully I can show you that any donation, no matter how small, let alone $1 million, can really help them achieve their goals in breaking the cycle of poverty. When I was 15, I was an intern at a church, and I went with some church members and a camera crew to Vizag and Visakhapatnam, which is on the east coast of India in the state of Andhra Pradesh. And Vizag is actually the second largest city in Andhra Pradesh. It has a population of approximately 1.3 million, and it faces the Bay of Bengal. We could see it from our hotel room. But it also has a real poor rural area that we would have to ride a rickshaw to a jeep to drive through the jungle to get through. And some of these people had never seen a camera before. They went to church in a hut that was made of wood and grass, and their only source of water was from a 100-year-old well with a turtle in it. So it really was a sharp divide between the urban life and rural life. I met an amazing man named Arjuna Chiguluri, and he is actually the founder of Vision Nationals and one of the most dedicated and caring men ever that I've met. He heads up the Visakhapatnam branch and was born into an upper caste Hindu family, because in India they have the caste system, which I became pretty familiar with because it is a real sharp divide. In 1987, after graduating from Talbot Seminary in the United States with his master's in theology, Arjuna moved back to India and became a professor and started to begin his ministry and relocated his family back to India and started his program where he was reaching out to the poorer rural community. And while the base is in the city, they do reach out to the areas that just have no access to even sometimes basic medical care. And his master's school and his master's home for children and the widow's home that he started are also another way where Arjuna just really is helping out the community. The master's home for children began in 1999 with 22 children. And today there are over 140 children. A lot of these kids come from single-parent homes and just would not be able to afford to take care of their children on their own, and many would have to go to labor camps. I remember one of the most heartbreaking stories that I heard was by a little boy named John Wesley, who told us a story via a translator, and the kid was seriously, a foot tall, about how his mother had been killed because she converted from being an Islamic to a Christian, and it was actually his father that committed the murder. So a lot of these children just have absolutely no one and are completely alone and would have absolutely nowhere to turn if Arjuna didn't open up his home and his heart to these children. At the master's home, children are provided with encouragement, warm beds, food, an education. They wake up every morning and they sing songs and they do their devotionals, and then they learn. I was amazed by their English. When I met the children, they just had an amazing vocabulary, and you can tell that it's just so many doors are going to be open to them because of it. And the widow's home actually provides over 20 widows with medical care and their basic needs. So he's pretty much trying to expand, and anyone who doesn't have a place to go in the community, he can open up his doors and has something for them. The Master's Home also includes children from the surrounding areas who could not afford to have an education. And when the school first opened, classes were offered up to 5th grade, but as the school grew, every year a new grade had to be added just for the children that were moving up. Also, when I first saw the children, I was pretty humiliated at one instance. I had tied a sarong type thing around my waist because it was not really appropriate for me to be wearing pants. Most of the women in that particular area wore punjabs or saris, so that way they were covered, and I was wearing jeans, so I tied a sort of scarf-like thing around it. And as I was being introduced to all the children and they were laughing and waving at me, it fell down. It came off completely, and the children just laughed hysterically because they thought that my pants had fallen down, or the equivalent of my skirt falling off, and they thought that my jeans were my underwear. So I'll never forget when they all just started to laugh hysterically at me like it was the funniest thing they had ever seen. So that was my first impression. But one amazing thing about all of this is that they're able to break the cycle of poverty in a really impoverished area. After the children graduate from the Master's Home and the Master's School, they are encouraged to continue with a higher education, and a lot of the students actually continue living on campus and in the housing area while they're attending top colleges in the city. So right now they actually have students working towards bachelor's degrees, some in mechanical, civil, computer engineering, and biotechnology. And they also provide job opportunities to the children and the students that graduate. And in 2008, they had their first 2 college graduates. And in 2009, one student actually became a certified accountant and went back to work for them. So they're actually helping to create jobs in the community. And in one generation, that cycle of poverty, and these children that had nowhere to turn, now are able to have jobs and careers that were going to help them, help them provide for themselves for the rest of their lives. And hopefully these are just a handful of the reasons that I've been able to show you about how Vision Nationals touches the lives of children and youth and reaches out to their communities. And if I were able to make an anonymous donation of $1 million, I would definitely expand the property so that way I could completely remodel and renovate the children's home and the school and the widow's home with all new sanitation and actual air conditioning instead of fans. I would like to open up several other locations throughout India, maybe even in some of the larger cities like Mumbai. I'd also think it'd be great to establish a volunteer program that would let aspiring students, humanitarians, and teachers, and even someone who's an intern like myself, go over and help them with whatever they need and lend their talents and skills, possibly for college credit, if not for just the amazing experience. And also, since this is $1 million, I would like to build a giant pool and a water slide at the children's home, so that way, since it's way too hot in the summer in India, they can have fun and swim. And that is pretty much everything. Hopefully I've been able to open your eyes to some of the amazing things that they do. And that is why they are the charitable organization that I would choose.